This is gokusondbz, and welcome back. This is going to be a new best to worst list. Now, of course, as I've said before, how all these lists work is very simple. I start with, in my opinion, the weakest, and I go to, in my opinion, the best. And this time around, I'm going to be ranking, in my personal opinion, of the top of the current 6 Star Trek series out. I'm going to be ranking, in my opinion, the top 6 best. And with that said, sorry about technical issues, but with that said, this is starting at number 6. In my opinion, the weakest of the 6 series is the newest series, which of course is done by CBS, and I kind of hate the fact that I actually have to upload and use CBS streaming app just to watch the series. Stupid of me. But anyways, not holding that back, I have watched about the first 10 episodes to get an idea of the feel of Discovery, and frankly, I just don't care much for it. I don't really care much for the tone, the style, or a lot of the actors in the series. I just can't get into it, but I know there's people out there, like one particular movie critic here on YouTube I know that thoroughly enjoys the series, and that is John Campia. And I'm glad at least he can enjoy it, but personally for me, it's just not my cup of tea. But that's just me. Everybody has their own tastes. That's the same thing. To each his own. That's just how it is. With that said, coming at number 5, in my opinion, unpopular opinion, at number 5, in my opinion, of the 6 series is the original Star Trek series from the 60s. I just couldn't get into the original series, and I'll be honest, one of my biggest pet peeves with the series is the fact I don't like William Shatner. I'll be honest. I never liked him, I never will. I hate how he always paused mid-sentence all the time. That really got on my nerves, in all honesty. That really annoys the crap out of me. With that said, the only saving grace, in my opinion, of the original series is that of Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Is the only saving grace, in my personal opinion. But with that said, coming in at number 4, in my opinion, is another not so popular opinion. I know most people regard this as probably the best series. In my opinion, this series had arguably the best captain, but that's it. Coming in at number 4 is a series called Star Trek The Next Generation. In my opinion, Jean-Luc Picard is the greatest captain, period, out of all the franchise. But that's because of the great actor who played Jean-Luc Picard, that being, of course, Patrick Stewart. But, as I said, to each their own. I know a lot of people' opinion easily is their favorite, but for me it's 4th. In my opinion, 3rd, which most people would probably have at the bottom of their list, is 3rd for me. That is Star Trek Enterprise. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact it didn't have classical music. Instead, it had like a upbeat, motivational type song and stuff, and didn't have the same atmosphere and tone. But this was supposed to be a prequel series, keep in mind, many years prior. And personally, I enjoyed it, but I'm biased because of who plays the captain in this. Is from one of my favorite science fiction shows of all time, and that being Quantum Leap. Easily in my top, probably like top 20 favorite sci-fi shows of all time list, easily. And very much overlooked at, which is unfortunate. Sometime in the future I may talk a little bit about Quantum Leap. Coming in at number 2 is the music you hear. Well, actually, I take that back. This, you'll find out. But coming in at number 2, for me personally, is actually, the music you hear playing in the background. Star Trek Voyager, in my opinion, is the second best Star Trek series, period. For a time there, it was my #1 favorite Star Trek series. This was actually one of the two shows that got me into watching Star Trek in the first place. Voyager was one of those shows. And I love the fact Voyager really added a lot of storytelling and elements specifically to, of course, the Borg. And they introduced a fan favorite, 7 of 9. But for me, and as you hear in the background, a metal cover of Voyager, in my opinion, Voyager has the best theme of the instrumental themes for the franchise. I just love this tone, and I actually am a big fan, honestly, of Captain Janeway. She is probably my #2 favorite captain in the whole franchise. I liked her character arcs, and I really liked also the other characters. Like, again, to see, of course, the coupling. Oh, excuse me while I deal with something. Audio issues. But with that said, coming at #1, in my opinion, best Star Trek series is unfortunately a lot of times the most overlooked at Star Trek series. In my opinion, in storytelling, the first season or two, it wasn't great, but once it came into its own, this show, in my opinion, outshined all the other Star Trek series ever. It is by far the darkest, tone-wise. A lot of people didn't like this because of one particular thing, because you weren't always on a ship, an Enterprise, scouring throughout the universe and stuff. Instead, predominantly took place on a space station. Much like another sci-fi series done by TNT in the 90s I loved, called Babylon 5. This series is called Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In my opinion, hands down the best Star Trek series of all time, and there's no competition in my personal opinion. At one time, it was a back and forth with Voyager. But over the years, as I've gotten older, I can honestly say I really appreciate Deep Space Nine a lot more than I used to. Main reason, as I said, I like the darker, more serious tone. I like the fact a lot of issues they dealt with and introduced new alien species in this series, which you really didn't much see pretty much in other Star Trek series, which is unfortunate. And it was cool again to see back and forth Worf and the end, the big final, big scale battle at the end of Deep Space Nine was maybe the greatest moments in the whole franchise, in my personal opinion. I love the fact how there was so much importance in this series, specifically revolving around races you didn't normally see most of the time. It was always the Klingons. But in this series, it was the Romulans and the Kardashians. But specifically, the Romulans were a big player in this series. But that's my own personal opinion. In my opinion, that is the best to worst Star Trek shows. In my opinion, the weakest series is Discovery. And in my opinion, the best series, hands down, is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But leave a comment. Tell me, why in your opinion is the best and worst Star Trek series in the franchise out of the 6 different series we've had thus far? But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Let me know if you'd like me in the future to rank best to worst Star Trek movies. And we're talking overall, like movies as a whole, or you can be specific if you want me to rank best to worst, like the original 6, and like separate and then sometime do Next Generation. It'd be kind of hard really to rank the new era because there's only 3 movies thus far. Where the others you had like 6 and like 4 or 5. I forget, it's been a while since I watched most of the Next Generation films, with the exception of First Contact, which is probably the best easily of the older movies. But anyways, with that said, I'll see y'all next time for comic book pickups and some future special gameplays you can expect. But that's next time. Anyways, for now, See you again, same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.